All right. Now, this is going to be the last video where we look at this stuff. I'm getting up and I'm going to pace here for a second because I want to talk for a moment. So, right now, I'm personally dealing with several things. I'm getting a little bored and, I'm looking to get energy into the work. And I can sense the fastidiousness. And this is, of course, because I'm probably under pressure to record or something like that. But anyways, this kind of thing happens as we go. And we need to be clear with ourselves what's our focus here with this sculpt. It's a concept sculpt. A concept sculpt is something that we want to get done as quickly as possible. And by done, I mean we want to get everything on there on the canvas or on the model, and then we can plus it, and we can make it cooler and better and all those things. But, we need to get stuff down and start suggesting and implying them. Can we get it done in a day? That would be amazing. Of course, it's not going to happen overnight. And there's a lot of indecision that comes in, and you're thinking through and trying to figure out the design and stuff like that. But energy, energy, energy. How do we go? How do we move? How do I keep my energy up and get these things, working? So take shortcuts. I'm not going to do all the straps here. I'm going to do some. So how am I going to do straps? And we're specifically looking at the concept here. And so we're going to, we're going to get, here, let me turn the code off. So there's all this holster stuff. You're welcome to kind of go in and do that stuff if you want. But since the jacket's here right now in this video, because I don't want you watching my video, I want you working. I'm going to skip all that stuff for the most part. I'm probably going to do just the pieces right here and around the coat, the arm, and then I'm going to go and do the lace. Maybe we'll figure out what's happening right here, maybe not. But I'm going to call it right there at those pieces. And at that point, you'll have seen, let me set up again. You'll see everything that you need to know. For the most part. Some of the principles, just to reinforce and provide a little bit of a summary, don't get into polygon modeling unless it's a hat or it's like a holster. Polygon model that all you want into little shapes. But with that clothing and all of that stuff, if you start getting into polygon modeling, man, it just sometimes it gets hard. So I don't recommend it. I recommend you go full on sculpt and you just try to get things, pulled things out of, a bunch of polygons and a bunch of digital clay. That's my recommendation, especially with something like this. So how do we do straps? And so there's a couple of ways that we can think about straps and how those might work. There's tools like, so for example, I can go in here and actually let me check to see if I've got... Yeah, I've got subdivision. So I'm going to delete the lower. I can come in and press C, and there are these curved tube snaps. So let's look at this. And, this draws on the surface, a tube. And if you lower the Z intensity, it'll draw a flatter one. And if I make this a little smaller, it'll draw a smaller, flatter one. There you go. And, that's kind of neat. That can work. And there's a lot of things that you can do with straps like this. I'm going to click outside the model to isolate that, or sorry, to get rid of that line. This piece is its own subtool, but its own polygroup, but there's other polygroups here. So I'm going to Control-Shift-Click and drag, so I'm just hiding that. And then in subtool, I'm going to split hidden. Okay, so that'll give me this piece here. And the way I like to work with these pieces is to do it one of the ways anyways. I'm actually not going to do it this way, but if you want to do straps, I'll build these straps like this, and then I'll come in with the Z Modeler brush, and I will try, to delete these edges like that. Let's go in here and say, can't do it. So we got to be a little careful. Maybe we have to come in to flatten. Make sure you don't have to flatten this side, but I'm just showing you like how that works, how you can kind of get a nice, good, clean kind of strap behavior right there. Okay, and so that's just the curved tubes. But if you were to go into ZBrush resources, let's see, where's their free resource? So they have a resource center. And down here we can, let's find it. Where's the resource center? Downloads. Oh no. Yeah, it looks like they got rid of that. So you could probably find something on QBrush ArtStation, and you can find a couple of different places where you can get brushes. But I'm going to only do anything that's kind of free. So let's try another brush. I'm going to go into the brushes eye, and I'm going to look for, let's try this clothing one. All right, so those are the belt buckles. Okay, cool. Let's go BI. And I want to find one that's got some straps. Like an IMM curve. Well, no, none of those are working. Bad King has some great ones. Bad King, you can check out straps here. And then again, you know, as a reminder, ArtStation. All right, so these are really good, especially if you're doing final kind of stuff. But when I'm sketching these in and I'm trying to work with this concept, I'm going to do this more like we do with miniatures. So let's just delete this. Okay, and I'm going to insert, I'm going to append a cylinder. Okay, and I'm going to obviously scale that thing down. Let's center it. Let's put it, let's open it, go to the center. What's going on? Go to home, dot, dot, there we go. What kind of trouble have I got myself into? Okay, sorry. There you go. That one. And I don't know if you can tell, but see how that cylinder works? Okay. So I'm going to use the move brush and pull it in. But it does need to, you know, kind of come up from above. And then I think we need to, I'm just pressing Alt right now. Okay. And we probably want this to creep up there. Somewhere right around there. We want that to kind of pull out. I'm going to kind of stretch that. So it'll go about like that. And that's just a nice simple cylinder. Nothing else crazy about that. It's probably going to be, well, actually, look at how much geometry is actually held in there. So if I divide that, that's going to be a pretty nice hard edge right there. So I'm not terribly worried about that. Okay. Try not to get too much distortion in there. All right, now once I've got that, and if I remember right, there's 3 of these straps coming down. So now I can just Control, click, and drag. Scale it out. Control, click, and drag. Scale it out. Clear it, and then I can scale them together if I'm a little bit insecure about how they're working. But now I'm probably going to want to turn polyframe on. I probably want to poly group, so I just auto group them. And then this way I can go in. Let's reset this. And let's go into auto masking. Say mask by poly group. And then that lets me treat these individually. I'm kind of okay with these things being on top of each other to some extent, but I think I overdid it. So the cool thing about this auto masking, mask by poly group, is that now if I go into move and I use transpose, transpose actually listens to it. Wherever that point is, that becomes like, that's the safe point, if you will. Okay, there we go. Move that up. And then make sure that these are tucked in. Okay, I'm going to Alt-click. What happened? Oh, it's down there. So let's go ahead, just for the sake of argument, I'm going to move these up, down, so they're just right there below it. That way it's going to be easier for me to see. So symmetry's on. Move brush. Clear any mask. There you go. And oh wow, we did that all under 150,000. So now I can divide this, and I'm going to turn symmetry off. I'm not going to just craft how this piece comes over. I think it's going to come over like that, and then it diminishes right there. Another reason why we do this. Do you know how this back of your model is going to be? Are we thinking about what that's going to entail? Oh, make sure you turn brush mask by polygroup off, because different polygroups, now, I'll start to get into trouble. Okay, all right, let's Alt-click on these guys, and I'm going to just lift, and there, that's good enough for me. Okay, so that'll cover, those pieces. I'm going to divide them, move them out a little bit. And if I want to ever shrink these things, what I do is I do a back and forth. I'll go up, down, up, down. And then this, just that gentle back and forth movement, that actually starts to shrink everything, you know, for you. Okay, you can see it's just a little. Okay, a little worried about that. All right, now if you want to put some kind of buckle in there, of course, now this is where you can come in. Make sure you don't have any real subdivisions, so I'm going to delete the lower. And I'm going to go into my IMM brushes, and I don't know if you saw earlier, but here's the clothing thing. So we can actually go in and insert these kind of buckles that really start to just, you know, set the stage for our piece. There you go. And of course, that's not actually the way, you know, it's supposed to go. So I'm going to click here, go to the end, and with rotate, I'm just going to rotate them in. And let's rotate and rotate like that. Okay. All right. Now, once you've got that kind of lined up, Control, click and drag. Control, click and drag. Scale them in. Control, click. Or Control, click and drag. Actually, that's not going to work. I'll leave it like that. That should be good enough for me for now. So now the next thing that I'll probably want to do, you know, to keep this energy moving is focus on the armband. And so if I'm going to focus on the armband there, it's the same deal. We go in and append a simple cylinder. Make sure you select that cylinder. I'm going to use the gizmo. I'm going to scale that down and just move that guy right in. Give it a little bit of rotation. Does this feel like cheating to you? Because I remember when I first saw people do this, I was like, are you, what? Are you out of your effing mind? Like, that, what? How can you? And, you know, that just becomes like a thing. You know, so now let's do the same thing with the arms. So I'm going to go and say Control, click and drag. Okay, like that. Scale that piece up a little bit. All right, nice little strap. And now I'm going to come over and I'm going to do a little trick here. I'm going to go over into Modify Topology, say Mirror and Weld, so I can get the other side. Oops, Control Shift, select lasso. I don't need those, so then that one right there, so I'll just delete the hidden there. All right, and then finally, let's append one more. select it. I think it's right about here. Yep. A little bit thicker. Cool. All right. Now, make sure symmetry is not on. Get this thing nice and tight. And let's mask these top pieces right there. Blur the crap out of that. And then I might scale that in a little bit. And I just need that top part, the general relative thickness. This is one of the problems with so much geometry in here. My life would actually be a little bit easier here if I was to go in and with the Z modeler, just Alt-click to delete. Okay, there you go. Now I should be able to go in and just isolate those guys, invert it, and then I can use move to make a nice form there. Then once I have it, I can come back in and let's just do a single edge loop. And let's put one in there. Oops. Okay, we're going to get that up a little bit. Careful if you start moving these things around. You don't want a lot, like these leather straps, like they don't just change in size. So you have to be careful. Okay. And then now we look and we say, okay, so what kind of buckle do we want right there? Let's make sure we delete our subdivisions, because you can't actually insert meshes. You can't do this when you've got those. So I'm just looking around to see, is there anything other than clothing? And of course you can go download some stuff. There's some really neat options, but these are going to be pretty basic. So I think I like just that guy again. And so we'll put him right a little bit bigger this time. That's not bad. And then just move it in. Actually want to move that down. Right there. Cool. All right. Now, one of the things that does happen when you have belt buckles, right, is that there's going to be some kind of loose end, most likely. So, let's see. This is going to be attached to a piece of fabric that's kind of wrapped and sewed. That comes around, and then this is going to be the loose tongue there. And so if that happens, you know, and we're needing to kind of place that, then one of the things that we can do, because, you know, we're trying to keep things as simple as humanly possible here, is try to see if we can use this piece. If we can control, click and drag out like a little bit of a tongue like that. And so then I will say mask off that. Now it's doing the whole thing. How do I want to do that? Okay, get there. Control. Just oh, I was pressing Alt, sorry. Control. There you go. And I've already pulled it forward here, so it's not even showing. There. So I got that little loose end right there. And so lots of things that you could do. So we could also probably, I don't know, come in and, oops. This is me using a topological mask. Sorry, the brush is going a little wonky. I'm going to leave it like that. So if you wanted to, you could leave it like that. That's a totally fine option. And then now you can come in and add whatever kind of straps you see happening here in these guys. Let's Alt-click. Let's delete or divide those so that we got some geometry. Delete the lower in case you want to use the Insert Multi-Mesh brush. Come in here, and if you want, sculpt some wrinkles, some interruption. You're like, all right, so getting some tension folds out of that. Do. Okay, great. A little something like that. All right. Whew. Let's take a look at the gloves, and then I'm going to call it a day and say, yo, all right, I gave you some training, gave you some information. Now, fly, you fools. Fly. Shoo, shoo. Okay. Zoom, zoom. Gloves. Sexy gloves. I'm going to start sculpting that sexy glove over there. Look at that holster, that bag on the side. That looks really neat. Okay. All right, those sexy gloves are over in the corner. I'm going to move them over onto this screen so that they are right in front of me. Okay, and there we go. Alt-click, and let's have some fun. Okay, it's about 200,000. I'm gonna start sketching forms out. So I see like a scabbard, wrist kind of covering right here, coming down to about the knuckle, and then lifting up about right there. Yeah, it comes a little bit there to there. Okay, comes across here as well. And up. I can't tell what's happening up here, except for probably that it's like it's free. So that would make this one free as well. And I can't tell exactly what's happening in the base here, but it does look like it comes about right there. Okay. Yeah, there. And so it forms that shape right there. Cool. Okay, I'm undoing that stuff I had done earlier, and that's okay. And I'll get a little bit of a lip here, and I'll get a little bit of a lip as we start to actually see a little bit more of what's happening. Right there. Okay, there we go. Okay, and I'm going my own way here. Okay, I'm not trying to conform directly to, what's there. And that's part of what you want to do is you want to, do your best to kind of get some iterations, for yourself. Okay, just trying to get these nice and cleanish. All right. So that looks kind of interesting. Now let's do some of the patterning that I see here. I'm going to harden my focal shift. Some tension folds. Okay. Definitely getting some tension folds there. And this form, that key is still screwing up. Okay, and now I'm going to divide this upwards because we're going to get a bunch of like small little tension folds here. Okay, we're going to get some nice tension folds. I'm going to set this to 3. Okay, and set that to 6. Okay, probably need to get some tension folds there as well. Set that back to 3. Damn standard. Okay, when the bumps get a little bit too much, just come in with something like the clay buildup and just tamp them down. Try not to be too aggressive, because you can create like a flat spot that, kind of destroys everything you're going for. Okay, let's build this form up a little bit. And this is a hardened shape. And I'm going to actually undo that strap right there. I'm going to control, come on. Oh, alt click, sorry. I'm going to delete these. Delete hidden. Come back in here And I'm going to do this entirely with a sculpt. Alright, so I'm going to go give this a, actually let's use damn standard brush. But with damn standard brush, in this case, I'm going to turn brush modifier off. Okay, I can't see what's happening at the top, but I'll assume it's the same kind of structure. And then same here. And there we go. Okay, so that's the basics of me sketching that in. Now, I am going to come in and there is a strap right there. And there's a strap right about here. I'm intentionally using this brush this way because I want to go in and flatten like that. So it just gives me a nice kind of volume. And then it's not hard to come in with the damn standard brush and just, clean an edge, right? It's incredibly easy. Okay, but I also need a lip here. I need that to be higher. So I'm pressing Alt and building that higher. Building this higher over here, a little bit of thickness. Okay. I'm going to get a little bit of thickness here. But now this really needs to get tamped down. That needs to get raised. Push that stuff down. Okay, there. Same thing here. Damn standard brush and Alt to get a little bit of a lip. But that is the most important lip right there. Okay. Turn solo mode on so I don't have to see all that. And then probably, yeah, I'm just going to tamp that down. Cool. Starting to look interesting, I think. So I say. Let's go in and I'm going to just get a little bit more on that edge and how these guys kind of merge. So, go in there and massage that just a little bit. I don't worry too much about the surface. There's a lot of things that we're going to do. But now that's looking, close. And so I'm going to start something now. I'm going to start creating, because of this, the reference and the leather and the way this stuff works is, leather there's a lot of movement that happens, and then it retains a memory of that movement. So, there's all these wrinkles and whatnot. And so, and this creates these like kind of flattish spots in these little kind of hills. So it's not like hills and valleys. It's more like hills and plateaus. And at least that's my summary of this. So when I go in here, I am going to use the ball stylus. I'm going to set my embed, and this is the clay buildup as well does this. I'm going to set my embed down to 2. And I'm just going to tap. And, there. There. All right, so now, do you see from a distance how that actually really starts to make that feel better? And if I undo all of that, here you can see the perfectly smooth surface, and you're like, oh yeah, brand new, right? Totally CG. Now we come in and we just hit it with this a little bit, and it really starts to make it sing, all right? And this is the materialness that we talk a lot about in manifesting itself in the actual sculpture. Okay, and I'm going to make sure to do that for these pieces too. Press Alt, because Alt's what flattens. There you go. Okay, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Okay, now what do you think? Definitely getting there. We can certainly be refining it and all of that good stuff, but there you go. Okay, and let's go here. Actually, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to try this. I'm going to do this waffly movement. There. That's good. I'm doing this kind of up and down because it's getting it had a little bit too much plane change. So now I'm going to come in and just give it some of this texture. Bevel those edges a little bit here and there. Don't be afraid to bevel those edges. This is leather after all. There we go. All right, I feel like, I like those gloves. We're definitely getting something in there. And so now the next piece to this is that there are these little crosses like that. Which, you know, we can do like this if we want to, but why would we do that? After everything I just shared with you. Instead, what I would like to do is for us to, let's check our subdivisions, and I'm going to delete the lower, and I'm going to go BIM to insert, BI to insert little small toruses, and I think it's primitives. No, it's not. BI, there you go, IMM basics. So right here, I've got a nice little ring 3D. Okay, now I can just draw that out like that. And we can rotate that. Rotate it. And just sink that puppy in there. Okay, now it's a little bit, what's that all about? Oh, let's turn LSIM on, sorry. And I think we need to, what is going on? There you go. Okay. So I like that piece. And so now I'm going to use the move brush. Make sure I'm in the move brush. And let's get this generally kind of set up. So it's on the outside to this side like that. There you go. And to there. Can move that in as well. Okay, and let's make sure we get a nice movement in. Okay. Now, once we have one, we can go into move, control, click and drag, and then rotate that. Okay, and then you just have to choose which one's on top. And ultimately, once you've got that, now you can Control Shift, mask them, show everything, invert the mask, and just Control drag another one. Wait, Control. Let's turn LSIM off. What are you doing to me? Well, I'm going to turn symmetry off. That's weird. It works now. So Control. I'm sure I'm doing something dumb. But it is, my stupidity is actually beyond me at this point. So again, I'm going to turn symmetry off. I'm going to move that up. And it's not on the other side, or is it? Oh, it is, but it's not symmetrically moved up. Whew. Getting late, folks. Okay, and then I'll just use the move brush and control click, and you know, you can kind of move these things in a little bit, get it feel like there's some tension in there. All right. And then if we want to place another one, I'm going to come in and control and do the exact same thing right there. Then use the move brush. Oh, careful. Make sure it's sunk in there. Okay, and voila, voila, All right. Now, once we have one that actually is kind of the way we want it, it's not too hard at that point for us to then just go in and delete the other one. So I'll go and say Control Shift, remove that piece. I'm going to delete the hidden. And then I already know I'm in trouble, but you can mirror and weld. It's just as mirror and welding in the wrong place. So I actually have to go to deformation and I have to mirror this. Then I have to go and mirror and weld. And now I have it. So nice and simple, easy technique. Let's go in now with the standard brush and create some tension, some memory folds in these places. Do a lower subdivision. And let's come in here. Okay, and then you'd go in and do, the same thing in the backside, but I'm gonna leave that alone right now. And anything else I want to do? No, that's it right now. Oh, don't dynamesh them. All right, now that's like 3 hours of me going in here and concept sculpting and rushing this, right? So I want you guys to take your time, but don't take too much time. Get what you can done so that you start to figure some of these things out. But this is by no means you're finished, so don't waste a lot of time here. Just get a basic suggestion, and then we're going to go through and you're going to start replacing this with your Marvelous Designer work. All right? Take care and good luck.